Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To all our esteemed listeners and beloved youth, today's topic of discussion, inshallah, is firstly Imaan, establishing our connection with Allah and how we can make this bond stronger with Allah through Salah. Imaan is a ni'mah, it's a bounty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed us with. And the purpose of our creation is to recognize Allah. Allah asked us in Alamul Arwah, in the world of the souls, that Alastu bi Rabbikum, am I not your Rabb? Each and every one of us replied Bala, meaning our ruh had recognized Allah and said, definitely Allah, you are our Rabb. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us this life to recognize who He is. So the body and the soul need to connect in the recognition of Allah. This body needs to realize who is Allah. That's why Allah said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that I have not created insan or jinnat except with the purpose of the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is to get the recognition of who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when this body and soul recognize Allah, then when we go into our qabr, the first question that will be asked is, مَا رَبُّكَ, who is your Rabb? If the body and soul recognized Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning the soul recognized Allah, and now with the body and the heart recognized Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and knew He is Allah, then a person immediately will say that Rabbi Allah, my Rabb is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's very important and imperative for us to make effort on this heart with our amal and our actions. You see, the connection and the bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we can get through salah is that a person's body is in full action and is subduing to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person is throwing themselves into the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why when we say Allahu Akbar, what are we actually saying? Kullu ma dun Allah asghar wallahu akbar min kulli shay. Everything besides Allah, every problem, every situation is small, is minute, except Allah. Allah is the most powerful. Allah is the most. Allah is qadir over everything. Allah is powerful over everything. Allah can sort out my problem. That is why Iyaka na'bud wa Iyaka nasta'in. Allah, only you do we worship and only you do we seek assistance from. Sahaba radiallahu anhum from a very young and tender age recognized Allah. If we look at the story of Zayd bin Arqam radiallahu anhu very briefly, but when the hypocrites planned and plotted against Rasulullah and he came to give the report to Rasulullah that this is what I've heard, then Sahaba thought that due to his tender age he was maybe mistaken. So Sahaba said that, look, O Zayd, you are a young boy, and Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, whose nifaq and hypocrisy was not yet known. But he said that, in lam tasma'u anni fa ashku ila rabbi. If you do not hear me out, then let me complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he complained to Allah and he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the result of his dua was that wahi was revealed. Revelation came down to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. سورة المنافقون هم الذين يقولون لا تنفقوا على من عند رسول الله حتى ينفضوا. Allah revealed those ayat to say that this is what they are saying. And this ayat was revealed in cognizance of the fact of the innocence of Zayd bin Arqam radiallahu anhu. The narration mentions he was only 13 or 14 years old at that time. So the connection we can achieve and the bond we can achieve with Allah through salah is very, very amazing. Many times youth out there, we are facing challenges, different sorts of challenges. A youngster is perhaps in matric or is in high school, and his challenges are his exams, or he can't manage in school to produce the results his parents want, and he's under pressure. And later in life, then it's matric exams, and then later in life it's university, and then it's marriage, and then different sorts of challenges that a youngster faces, which he doesn't know how to vent, or he doesn't know the direction forward. But if he puts himself before Allah and he makes dua to Allah and he reads salah and establishes this bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through salah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely answer all of his du'as and all of his prayers. Allah give us all tawfiq inshaAllah. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغِ. قد قلت ما قلت إن كان صوابا فمن الله وإن كان خطأ فمن نفسي ومن الشيطان. أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله إنه كان غفارا. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.